Welcome to Urban Spidey Tonight, the show where I talk about my feelings on the toy community and possibly other topics. Tonight we'll be talking about the new Hasbro 6-inch line, the Indiana Jones Adventure Series. This line aims to capture the likeness of characters from the Indiana Jones film series, and the first wave has already started showing up. There are even a couple reviews already up on YouTube. As always, let me start tonight's show off with my opinion. I was very excited for this new line. I've wanted a 6-inch Indiana Jones figure since I started collecting 6-inch figures. And so when it was announced that the team behind the Star Wars The Black series would be making the Indy figures, I immediately got worried. My expectations for the line fell way down. If you aren't familiar with my channel, I've been very vocal about how much I dislike the Star Wars The Black series figures. In fact, I quit collecting them this year. That's the second time they've pushed me away from collecting the line in 5 years. The first time I quit collecting was back in 2017 because the quality of their products was just so bad. But this time I quit because they refused to improve their articulation, and now they're really skipping on paint applications. So I went into PulseCon cautiously optimistic about the new Adventure series. I hope that maybe the Star Wars team had learned something from their failures on the Black series and heard complaints about that line. But of course, I was wrong. And the Adventure series figures look almost identical to the Black series figures. The same crappy articulation, the same crappy paint apps. How could they have possibly made absolutely zero improvements or learned anything from the past couple of years of complaints? I went in with pretty low expectations, but was still disappointed. Oddly enough, it's the same feeling I get whenever there's a new Star Wars reveal from Hasbro. The bar was low, but of course, they still couldn't get over it. And what makes it worse is that this week, as I'm writing this episode, the Marvel team had some excellent reveals. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Just for me to see pictures of the Adventure series again, and it essentially rubbed in my face how bad the Indy figures are, I really cannot understand the decision from the Black series and now the Adventure series people to only have single jointed elbows and knees. It's like they're just making 3 3/4 inch figures, but upscaled to 6-inch, which is a terrible way of making figures in my opinion. Now, the community's opinion is actually the same as mine, for once. Indiana Jones is obviously a classic and beloved by many people. However, it's not Star Wars. Meaning this Hasbro team can't do what they do a lot of the time and just sell stuff from brand recognition alone. So either they'll be forced to make drastic improvements on the products because people won't be buying them the way Star Wars collectors buy anything with the Star Wars logo on it, or the line will just perform badly. And I'm guessing that the latter will be what happens. The Black series has not improved much. The Black series has not improved much over the past 10 years. Why would the same people improve a line that just started and they have really no stake in? It's pretty saddening, honestly. Depending on how the figures looked, this line could have sold amazingly. If they had tried some pinless double-jointed elbows and knees for once, maybe then those same innovations could make their way into the Black series. But nope, they just stick with the same old stuff that is quite literally driving people away from their already existing Star Wars line. But now this line will be reduced to just the line for background filler characters for toy photography. Or even worse, the line that will be remembered as the line that won't sell. I can see these figures peg warming like crazy because people will be so hesitant to buy them because of the seemingly lack of effort put into the figures. It's not often that I really agree with the general opinions of the toy community as a whole, but somehow all of us can agree that these figures feel a little lackluster. I really am hoping that they improve with the Temple of Doom wave, or especially the Last Crusade wave, since that's my favorite Indiana Jones movie. But as of now, I don't see much hope for this line. Ultimately, yeah, I probably will end up picking up a few figures from this line. I already have the Indiana Jones pre-ordered because like I said, I always wanted a 6-inch Indy figure. But I could never find that one random Indy figure from Disney parks, and the Figma one is a Figma. Indiana Jones really has a special place in my heart, but seeing these figures that just look like an afterthought makes me feel a little sad. Both Star Wars and Indiana Jones deserve better than what the current team in charge of the figures is doing, but I really don't see the articulation or lack of paint applications changing anytime soon. And since this may be the only time I'm able to own a 6-inch Indiana Jones figure, I'm gonna have to get it, which is the trap that's also set by the Black Series team. And clearly it works.